This is a new 2019 Honda Insight. In other words, the new Honda Civic Hybrid, but with a lot of improvements, if I may say so myself. Base price for the car is $27,990. This one is a fully loaded Touring, which I was surprised to find out that it retails for $31,890. The difference between the two: moonroof, heated rear seats, navigation, a little bit of chrome, a little bit of leather, power passenger seats, rain sensing wipers, and on and on and on. I do apologize for my shadow there. The car is actually surprising, if mostly because it's better looking than the Honda Civic that it replaces. Now, if you take a close look here, that looks very much like the Honda Accord's front end, which I think fits quite nicely on this car. The profile is very coupe-like. It's very much like the Civic, so as far as that's concerned, they look very much alike. And then it gets better on the inside. Before we go to the inside, let's take a look at the little trunk. With the batteries and all that, you're looking at 400 liters. Thing is that it's very usable, 400 liters, which I kind of like, but there are no handles. Explain that to me. Why are there no handles to grab to close the lid? I'm just complaining because that's my job. The back seat, it is humongous. A little bit tough to say with my daughter's child seat base, but there is room in here. Absolutely loads of room. Look at the leg room if someone was to sit there. Anyhow. And then, at the front, and you swear you're stepping into an Acura, which, if I was Acura, I would be kind of upset. Start her up. Now, on the right, you have a physical gauge, and on the left, you have a digital gauge. There's kind of a weird thing going on here. You can change all kinds of, different setups and layouts and stuff like that, but you can't get, or I haven't found anyway, a digital readout of the actual speed. I don't get it. I totally don't get it. I don't want to change this channel. That's not what I'm looking to do. Anyhow, that's very unfortunate because this entire screen right here shows nothing. All right, so on this side, you have the big screen, which is quite nice. I kind of like the combination physical buttons and digital buttons up here. They kind of feel a little bit weird and cheapy, but they work beautifully well. Now, what I mean by very Acura-like, look at the quality of the finish, the leather, the stitching. Here's the various different materials, the trim, how everything kind of comes together. And then there's this thing, which I still can't get used to, but shut up, Matt. It's the way it is. The layout is beautiful. The buttons are nice. This. Do you hear that? The weight behind that is fantastic. You can already see what's going to happen when they do a facelift, right? This is going to become a wireless pad for charging your phone. The steering wheel is gorgeous too. Fit and finish again, soft materials. This is totally Acura. Oh, by the way, look at this. That is an absolute ginormous blind spot. I mean, when I'm going around the corner turning left, and if I could raise my head every time, anyhow, that's kind of a weird shortcoming. And while it's running, that I can't. There's no way. I physically, purposefully ignore lane watch all the time. It remains an absolute distraction and pointless. Drive modes, I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few moments. Otherwise, loads of storage. Loads of storage. I love this. This is actually adjustable 4.5, but now phone holder's in the way. This is a lovely, lovely vehicle, and it has a full battery of safety features, including lane keep assist, intelligent cruise, blah, 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 all of that for only $32,000. And it looks good too. And believe me, the drive is good as well. So let's go beat. So in the last little while, like say the last month, I've been driving various, very different cars, like a Ford Expedition, my Sport Wagon, a Toyota 86, the Tacoma TRD Pro, and a few others that I can't think of right now. And no matter what, I'm always relatively heavy-footed. So you can imagine that the expedition was a very expensive week. But every time I get behind the wheel of a plug-in hybrid or a hybrid, my brain flips. This does not happen with an EV. So what I'm trying to say is that I am a freaking champion this week because I am averaging 6 liters per 100 kilometers in this 2019 Insight Touring. Under normal, ideal, perfect, superb conditions, you'll average about 5. I am quite literally killing it. Now, the important things, really, are the engine, I suppose. Normally aspirated Atkinson cycle 1.5 liter engine with the electric motor, combined for 151 horsepower. There is torque, but it's essentially all from the electric motor. Has 197 pounds from 0 RPM to 3,000 RPM, which is the advantage of the electric motor, as always. At some point after that, the 1.5 hands out 99 pounds of torque. eCVT, the only transmission you get with it. It works like a CVT. At this point in time, I mean, they are what they are. So if you want to accelerate a little bit more than what the car would like you to do, it drones and whatever. It's annoying. It's not particularly loud, but it is a CVT. If you want to have a little bit more fun, you have a couple drive modes. I've used Econ only a little bit, and only to notice that it has little or no bearing on the fuel economy. I have been cycling through different modes, so maybe if I drove on Econ more, maybe I would see an even bigger improvement fuel economy wise. Yeah, normal seems to be the best. Sport is actually fun. The car kind of comes alive, and it's kind of a saving grace with the CVT. I mean, everything gets louder and more obnoxious a little bit compared to the really quiet and refined normal environment in which you bask in the Insight. Otherwise, steering is fine. I don't want to say it's dull or numb, but perfect. And the high and the low rolled into one. The brakes, when the gasoline engine switches off and the regen kicks in, or if you're braking and there's a transition between the two, braking remains really linear, unaffected by the gasoline engine shutting off, contrary to like Volvo T8s, which cost 3 times as much as this car. That's the good side. The downside, it's not really a downside, but there are the paddles on the steering wheel help with regen braking. In other words, when there are no little triangles on the screen here, that means you're in normal, neutral regen. You pull back once, pull back twice, that's 2 extra degrees of regen braking. Wow, I'm in sport. Watch out. Okay, before I get a speeding ticket. But every time you get back on the throttle, or if you come to a full stop, the regen modes go away. You drop back to normal or neutral by default. Stuck in traffic or driving in the city, I wish I could leave it in the most aggressive regen mode all the time. I suppose because the battery is teeny tiny, it can't handle that charge on a constant basis, so there's no sense in having that ability. However, I like the fact that you don't really have to you don't have to use the physical brakes in order to come to a stop when you're driving the city or when you're coasting off the throttle. Anyway, this thing is really good. Absolutely good. Like I said, quiet, refined, smooth, actually peppy in sport. When I paid $28 for the base car, $32 for the touring, the only issue that comes to mind is the all-new 2019 Prius with the E all-wheel drive, which would hands down get my money, despite the fact that it's uglier inside and out and not as well equipped. Having said that, this thing is still surprisingly good.